So you wanna fucking meditate after this, man? I'm gonna fucking meditate the fuck out of you, bro. Oh yeah, that's so sensual.
Many years ago.
That's so sensual. All right, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Yo,
COVID-19, baby.
what's going on?
Ayer.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that.
Coronavirus 2019.
Let's actually talk about let's lay down. What do we think of this shit is going on right now?
All right.
Like what's going on, bro? We're March, bro. We're March. We're March 14th.
We haven't really spoken about this either.
Like no, we haven't. Yeah, no. It's March 14th, my nigga. We're on the third month, halfway through the third month.
She's hitting the
Yo,
fan.
been a crazy year too. Like just fucking packed, bro.
Like shit after shit, bro. So like, what are the thoughts right now on this new event? You know, we had Kobe last month.
Hey, yo, shout out.
We had all this shit going on. Now, COVID-19. The fuck going on, nigga?
I don't know. A lot of people think it's like bioweapons and like.
Oh yeah, of course the
fucking,
conspiracies.
Yeah, like that's just gonna hit you, no? Like
What?
when you really think about it, like every couple of election years, some shit always be going down. H1N1.
Oh, yeah, it's-
SARS, this shit.
It is a election. Oh yeah, it is election year too.
Exactly.
And bro, all the protests that were going on in the world, Hong Kong, Lebanon, fucking.
All that
Probably
has
more,
all
but-
that has to stop. Everything is getting stopped. Like literally, everyone's just like, "Yo, time out." Like everyone's just like, "Yo, time out," because like this shit might. be,
And the crazy thing is like until like maybe 2-3 days ago,
it wasn't as crazy.
I wasn't even scared of it,
Yeah.
or like just around, it wasn't as crazy.
It just randomly boomed.
Deadass, I feel like somebody's making money off this. That's why everything's getting shut down so fast. Like, there's definitely some scheme going on.
I don't know. It's like because like the demand for shit is so high and they can't even make it. It's like,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too earlier this morning. Like, what's this gonna do to like the economy?
oh, it's like already beginning to crash.
Yeah, like economies are tanking. You look at like they were even sending out mail, bro. Like my bank sent me an email, like yeah, like the current like economic climate or whatever. It's like yeah, like it's affecting crypto, bro. How the hell? How the hell is this shit touching Bitcoin and all that cryptocurrency, bro?
It's not even
where?
fucking like physical.
Yeah.
bro. I was looking at an article, and of all the things you would expect to be affected, you would expect cryptos to be hit like last.
Yeah.
But cryptos get
Or
hit.
even
Nobody's
increase.
safe. Nobody's safe, bro. Nobody's safe. You look at like what's been going on. You're like, oh, Italy. You're like, boom, boom, and like I think
Is Italy the worst country so far in terms of cases?
I think it's just like they got alarmed really fast and they just dead ass shut down the whole country. Like on some medieval stuff. It's like, hey, yo, listen.
I think
everyone in the house by
China did
6
that too.
p.m.
China did that too. Well, I mean, I think that's where it started too.
I have
Or,
a-
like
I have
the
a
way they're
really, like-
handling it.
I've really like it's just a theory. Like I'm thinking like you know how no young people are getting sick. What if it's like population control by China? Because like it started there and they're controlling all of the news that comes out of it. Oh, it's not. These are the rates of mortality. Blah blah blah. But what if it's like keeping all the young people alive so they can just be worked? Like they can just like it, and then population's down like crazy. Now they can finally control a lesser few of people who grew up in this era of just like internet.
Artificial
And if they
selection.
can control information, then it's fucked, bro. It's like where that's all they know.
It's like it's funny to me because the way, like if you look at past pandemics and stuff like that, like the way also the coverage essentially that this shit received is intense because we haven't been disconnected ever, and like it's
Yeah.
it's crazy to see how like our first like reaction to something or how we respond to these things has changed with that, right? Like you got hashtags now, you have like everyone talking about it, like even kids know about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's connected and stuff's
And
happening.
also I think like not just the information part, it's like physically we're not that far away from Australia. You can take a flight or like a cruise. Like technology is up there where like that shit is actually dangerous, even if it's on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
You have people, you have packages moving like all over
supply
the world.
chains. Like people are like the Joe Rogan video you sent. Apparently, like a lot of certain products are only produced in one place just to optimize like maximum efficiency.
Yeah, one manufacturer.
Manufacturers. So if that place is hit, and that's the only thing they produce, and they rely on that for their exports and like GDP, whatever, like their economy, that shit crashes. They have nothing. They're not supplying people. People aren't receiving it. So that one resource is just scarce as fuck in certain regions.
You can't find that stuff nowhere. Yeah, man. It's like it shows you like how even though like economic specialization is a good concept and it's something nice to have, but when stuff like this happens, it can really show you how it can cripple markets and people, right? Because it kills the chain.
Yeah, because like, everyone got to stop doing what they're doing. So like basically everything is put on hold, and it affects everything else because we're so dependent on each other that it's like as soon as one thing is stopped, everything else is just gonna start suffering. So it's like I think this morning is when like I was really like, okay, maybe this is some serious shit going on.
Especially because you sent me the first response of the day. It was like, oh, Gio, like 2 days ago you were like, you're a pussy for thinking it's anything.
Oh yeah. Because like, bro, I was literally like, it's just because it's still this way. It's just I think the thing that's crazy is like how long this shit's gonna go, and like how much even the potential of something like as a big like black plagues going again, like the preventions that we're taking are so I didn't realize we're taking it all like collectively this seriously.
Yeah, because
that's what I'm realizing today, because like with everything shutting down, right? Yeah.
When you're like a collective consciousness, I feel also the way you react to the stuff is different, right? Because like before, you had the news outlets determining what was important, like what should we focus on,
and now it's just like Twitter.
It's crazy. You can focus on so many things at once, and it's just like you get tired of stuff like that, right? Compassion fatigue. It's just like, where does it? Where does it end?
Bro,
where do I stop?
It's like Palestine, indigenous rights, like fucking China and the Muslim concentration camps. Like, where do you?
I don't think it's ever been different though. Like, I think it's just how fast information travels.
Yeah, which makes all the difference.
And how like that's exponentially been getting faster like every year. So I feel like there's always been terrible shit going on in the world, like scary shit. Like this is not the first big virus that we've had like that scared us. Ebola was a thing. Like everyone was fucking freaked out for Ebola. But I think what's happened now, it's that like, bro, it's so much faster to just like I can use my face and then I'm already on Twitter. Like I'm here. Go on explore section. What's new? It's not just a 10-page like just hashtags now. They have whole ass new. It's basically a newsreel at this point.
Bro, it's like,
you know. It's like as soon as you pick up this magic box, you have all of the news from not only your fucking national news anymore, from everywhere in the world.
It's inverted, like, bro. It's entirely inverted because like let's say 400 years ago. You would only be informed of things that were the most significant, and it'll be very few.
Exactly.
And now it's fucking everything, and most of it's misinformation. You can't even trust it.
That's at this point too. Is like, and the fucking whole bunch of shit that's getting thrown out. Niggas who just don't even know what they're talking about are like, fuck it, let me just throw in there too. So like it's like you don't even know what's real information anymore.
Because it hurts your ability to perceive. It's like, okay, I'm getting all this information. You can't sift over any of that real stuff, right? Even like you're like, oh, I should care about this, or oh, I should care about that. It's like, okay, slow down. I have to process this, right? And that's why the whole
you gotta sit back. Like it's too much because you keep having to just sit. The fact that it's so many people just sending information now, like you need to take time to interpret what the fuck's going on. So now by the time you're done like thinking about what already happened and you're going back, it's just a whole bunch of shit again. It never stops. I think that's the problem. It never stops. So like when shit like this is happening and it's spreading so fast, like in every single country, as soon as there's a case, like we're aware. You get on Twitter, you know, right? Like as soon as you get on Twitter, you know what new place got it. What did it jump to from in Italy from yesterday? Like how much more people? So like I think with that, it's possible for people to just control the narrative so much easier in your head because it's being thrown from so many different places.
Yeah.
So it's like the narrative, whatever narrative they want to construct, they're going to be able to. So now, even if we know necessarily that most people aren't dying from this shit, And like people that are dying from it are people who can't fight it. Like if they got common flu and they were in the same situation, they would probably die from the same thing. So like, I think what seeing all of this shit happening, they're capable of just like, all right, let's make these niggas actually scared.
Right.
Like, because right now, even if you don't think it's that serious, you're still kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Because now schools are getting shut down.
And your family's beginning to like, oh, careful now. Like,
Yeah, my mom made me fucking bought like 2 hand sanitizer bottles. She's like, put this in your
Hey,
bag.
yo,
If I
keep
see this
that
at
thing
home,
on you.
if you're not at home and I see this at home, I'm beating the shit out of you. I'm like, damn. That was like
Yeah.
last week, and now this week classes are basically done.
No school.
Walmart has zero like stock. Like everything is just running out. My mom bought like 3 extra boxes of
Yeah.
cereals yesterday.
I feel like
so like it's creating this thing around your head, even no matter what the objective fact is, that like, okay, whoa, should I start? Like, should I worry a bit? Like, you know, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
whoa. Like,
and the
what's
thing is,
going
like,
on?
bro, I'm starting to realize, yes, you should worry. But the thing is, I think we already have a few tools that we can deal with this,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this podcast is already one. Like, one thing I want to say is, like, my parents were talking about this today. They were like back home, we what? Lentils. And that shit's dried. Put that shit in water, it fucking expands like crazy, and you can store it forever.
Yeah.
So that's one thing people are not doing. They're not buying lentils. They're not buying like spices. They're going cereal. You know, like that's gonna make you hungry in like 2 hours, and now you can start practicing fasting. You can start taking care of your health, your immune system.
Yeah, but now you're talking in case like niggas are actually like quarantined.
Yeah.
And
But
we're
even
talking
still,
survival.
it's like if like you always want to be ahead of it. You don't want to react too late or respond too late.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of responses nowadays though are reactionary, because I guess that's also it. Also comes with always having everything
You're always
accessible to
yeah,
you.
always reacting.
You're not really like trying to figure out like, oh, like what should I be caring about right now?
He's
Like,
oh shit.
it's like some shit's on your face, like, oh, whoa, damn, right? And
yeah, and the next one. And the next.
no
Like,
attention
oh,
span,
damn,
man.
like,
It's a crazy
Yeah.
thing.
Very interesting.
You don't-
Very interesting.
You don't know what to do. Like I was thinking about how, you know, how like people have shorter attention spans just because everything is moving so fast.
Yeah.
Right? You're just always bombarded. You don't have a second to yourself, right? It's like you wanna step back and think. You don't. You have to like unplug.
I noticed that a lot. Like and I'm like within myself, like where you realize like I don't know what's crazy is outside shit looks so like banal and like not crazy. So you don't really know what's going on in your brain. But I feel like when you're just constantly like you could just swipe from like Twitter back on YouTube, and then on YouTube it's like millions of videos, and you could just jump from one to the other to the other to the other. And at a certain point you get to a point where like at first it starts with you watching every single video, and it just gets to you like 30 seconds into it. Oh, this one looks crazy. And then you jump. I think when you get out of that world and then you try to like, I don't know, we want to cook or you want to study,
orient yourself, and
your brain is still in that mode of like, okay, this, okay, that, okay, nah, this, I now want that. So then when you're trying to study, your brain's like, all right, that's 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, what's Twitter saying? And then you're back on Twitter. Or you go eat, or you want to watch a show, you end up binge watching. Like I feel like it's because of all of this being hit with shit. Now when it's time to slow down, we can't because we're in the mode of going fast all the fucking time.
It's a new default, right?
Yeah.
It's like having stuff, being constantly connected is the new default. Because like you think about like our parents and their parents, they would have to seek a
Oh,
connection.
bro.
Now it's like, no, I'm trying to disconnect. Everything
Yeah.
is all over my face.
Like the connection, being connected used to be the rare thing. It used to be like once in a blue moon. Now imagine, bro, when's the last day you unconsciously spent the entire day on your phone? Like I've been doing it where once a week I have to just, I literally like I've been deleting Twitter and Instagram off my phone, and I stay off basically for like it's usually Sundays. Like I'll stay off the internet for the entire day. And what's crazy is when's the last time I've done this unconsciously,
Like
where
just
I didn't,
normally?
where I didn't just like wake up, like shower, brush my teeth, and then fucking right on Twitter, or wake up and then just go right on Twitter.
yeah.
When's the last time you just woke up and like by the time you had breakfast you didn't check your phone?
Or go out for a walk.
Yeah.
Never,
By-
actually, I can't remember.
Yeah. So
it don't happen.
So
It
by the
don't
time
happen.
you eat your first meal of the day, you already know what's new on Twitter and Instagram. So like imagine, and I realize this on the days where I don't like have like where I disconnect, is that by the time while you're eating doesn't feel comfortable if you're just eating. So
Yeah.
even like niggas can't even like, it's not even normal for us to eat without being like
bombarded with that
bombarded by some
information.
other
And
shit
the
like
crazy-
at the same time.
Sorry, soon. The crazy thing is, because you don't feel comfortable just eating, now you got to watch something, and you watching that means your body is under stress automatically. Your body now is not naturally comfortable, so you're not even digesting that food properly.
You're just not paying attention. Like the quality of both of what you're doing just goes down because you have to split. So to be able to watch a movie or whatever you're watching and then eat, you need to split your attention between both. So then you're like you're watching the show, the way you eat goes down because you're not focused on how you're eating or just the eating process. And then you miss things in the show and you don't really get the full experience of the show because you're busy doing something else while watching the show. So like you're not even getting the full quality of what you're doing just so you could do more at once.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about, man.
Yeah. Like, you know?
It's backwards. It's like you do something, but it gives you the opposite result.
Exactly. You're chasing all the instant gratification, but at the end of the time, you just end up stressed because you can't. Nothing can hold you down. Like nothing can bring you to that point where you're just like doing one thing at a time.
And it's the only way you can give something like full quality that you can. So like if you're in this mode all the time and you're a person who has like some kind of focus intensive activity, like you play soccer or you make art or you do something, the same thing's gonna fall into what you do in your just professional or creative practice. Your quality is gonna go down because while you're working, you're so busy, you're so used to not giving something your full like attention that you're gonna end up not giving your whatever you're doing full attention. The quality is gonna go down.
Yeah.
And then you're not making good shit.
That's the thing.
You're
You're
not
also
making
not
noise.
happy though. That's the two. It's like
No,
you're not. Nothing's completely fulfilling you because you're out like seeking fulfillment from all these other outlets, man.
And it's I think what's crazy, like what we were saying, like it's crazy that that's how it's flipped. Like you were saying, how it's flipped now. Where being connected used to be with like the event, like oh shit, like now a nigga needs to post on his Instagram stories that he's gonna be off his phone for a few hours.
That's the thing too.
It's
It's like
what?
perceptions are affected too. That's like so interesting to me where it's like I make the conscious choice to disconnect, but it's so unusual and so outside the norm that like people are like, wait, like
Are you
bro,
ghosting?
what's wrong? You think you're better than us, bro? And it's
Yeah. And it becomes this whole ego thing where it's like, oh, like people who spend no time on Twitter are losers. People who spend all their time on Twitter, it becomes this whole thing, and like, oh, bro, and
It's a mess.
I don't think it stops though. Like I think it's been like this, like always.
yeah, but
Just in different,
context.
Yeah.
And a different frequency, which makes all the difference, though.
I think it's all an unfolding thing. So it's like it was always leading up to the point where we're at now. I think this is just a lot of like the materialistic shit that we're dealing with that is just coming to a climax. You know how we're so outer world right now, like material, and I think there's so much emptiness like in the soul area of like the West that shit's just slowly just going to shit materially. Like it's and like we're basically what happened. Like how things are inside is how it'll be reflected outside. And I think that's what's going on, the outside reflection from like where we actually are. Cause shit is messy, like it's chaos, bro. Everyone's vaping all the fucking time because they need to remain calm.
Let me catch that
Like
USB stick.
niggas need 20 different million things now to just remain calm and have a normal day.
And to post about how well you're dealing with your anxiety and depression.
Oh man,
Like, isn't
Damn
that
it,
crazy?
too.
that's true. That's
Isn't
true.
that crazy, bro?
Because you're always like, especially now, you're always trying to virtue signal outwards. Like, hey, check me out. Like,
Yeah, you
hey,
can't even do
hey.
something nice without having to express it outwards
yeah.
now. Like you can't even do something nice inside without having it like reflect. Like I think we're so outside focused and it's leaving us so empty inside that now we're being shown how actually chaotic shit is.
Because you don't have like, I feel like back then, the way your mind would decompress, it would be the moments when you were alone doing something really slowly. It would kind of like
So you
unpack.
take shit in, bro. Like memory has a way it works. You need something to really soak in. You need to repeat it, recall it before it goes into your long term.
And silence.
And silence. Like we don't have that buffer anymore.
Cities don't sleep 24/7.
Like we don't have that buffer, bro. Like niggas sleep with their phones on, bro. Like with shit still playing until the phone dies.
That's me.
You know what I mean? So your brain's never has that, even when you sleep, like shit's playing. Like you don't never have that time where you can just and just sit down.
It's actually too much. Like if you're like over the past 2 years, I've listened to like some podcasts that like biohackers and they're just trying to optimize the human body.
Yeah.
And the little things they say are always like, oh, blue light, noise, cortisol. Like there's a bunch of things that we're doing right now and we do in our daily practice because of the way we live that our bodies really are not getting any breaks. And like it's really not good for us.
Yeah.
Really, really, really not good for us.
Man.
But we don't notice it.
It's like I can't wait to like see how this affects us. Like, how will we look like when we're 40? Because like I've noticed like it's crazy because before it would be like, you know, it was like a lot of food related stuff, but now I feel like the next thing is gonna be a lot of technology related stuff. Like, how does it affect your posture too? Like when you're slumped over your phone.
Oh fuck, man, I hate that.
You're slumped just like looking at my texts, you know.
Yeah.
And I was
like
just showing you the spinal wave, like that. You never do that, right? It's like I never did that before I learned about it.
Same.
You know what's interesting? Like the people, I feel like there's just a
Disparity?
no like a speed difference, like in terms of how progressed we are in different, like what's it called, planes, like on different planes, how advanced we are is so imbalanced that I feel like because happiest people I know lives life so much more simple than the lives we're living in our most evolved way. People who are living less evolved lives are happier than us, the most evolved people. So niggas who just wake up, they stretch or whatever, they wake up at the same time every day. They don't use alarms. It's just like with the sun. They just wake up and they just go like the fucking third world country shit. Like when they go to the fucking gardens to pick out their food, blah, blah. All those, like they built their own house. They don't have to buy land. Like you just find a space that's free.
And it's like, yes,
gather all this shit, put it all together, and there you go. And then that's how they live. They go get their water, have a few meals a day, very simple shit. They don't necessarily kill animals, but if they do, they raise them. And they don't put them in a little cage, you know what I mean? And then they just live like that.
Make their own food.
Yeah, make their own food.
That's important.
Every meal, every snack made by them or the people around the village. And
I think it has to do with expectations, right? Like those people, like the feedback that they have is from like just the people in the community. It's like I have a few eyes on me, but now it's like.
But that's the thing, because I think they're so much closer to the point where we're at still in the terms of evolution. Like we're not evolved to what we're currently living in. Like our brains, that's why the whole shit with people getting addicted, that's us not evolved enough to be able to do those things without getting addicted to them, because our brain still uses dopamine.
And it's also that like what we see really twists our metric of what real value should be. It's not a car. I mean, it's like, can you walk? Can you touch your toes, man? Like,
because you need to remember, like, your body doesn't react to a new car. Like, the reason why you're happy is not because you got the new car. Yeah. It's because your body triggered some fucking like
chemical
feeling. It's because chemical feel good chemicals got distributed in your body is why you felt. Your body does not see car. Like your mind sees
feeling.
car and then it transmits a feeling, and then every time it sees that again, it transmits the same feeling. So it's like we're still the same way we were like back in the Stone Age and shit, because that's how we work. Like when you found the path to the water, your brain gave you the dopamine, and then when you're on that path again, your brain gives it back to you, and you're like, okay, I'm on the right path. That's how it works. That's what it's for.
It's like you saw a dude with a car on a TV show. And he has that girl. He has the perfect life. So now you're associating that with in real life. Oh, if I get this, perfect equals great.
And then every time
Finished.
you get there, it's Oh, it's no. It moved over there. You know what I mean?
You keep inching like the line. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Bro, like this, it's actually almost too perfect. Like if someone made this formula
yeah.
like 100 years ago, be like, this is how we started. Just make the first fucking computer, and it'll do the rest.
But that's the thing, dude. Do you think that sometimes people just forget about the ethics of what they're creating? Like, if you're an inventor, but you're so lost in like the process that you're not thinking about
The consequences.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I only think about how my technology should be used. I never consider like, oh, what if it could be misused like
Right.
that? Because it's not in your scope of like
Yeah,
consciousness when you're
yeah.
creating.
You're
an
only seeing
object.
how it could work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
And-
you're only making it so it could fix a single problem, not like the opposite things that could go wrong. That could go wrong when it's used. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, who do you blame once something gets misused? Like
I think
the other day, I was reading about the dude who made like the infinite scroll on Twitter, right? So that now you just scroll without
Oh,
stopping.
yeah.
He was like, when I was thinking about it, I was just trying to solve a design flaw where you'd have to click. Remember, you'd like click.
yeah, you have to click it. Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I'm just solving a design problem.
But now it's caused a thing. But I think I think it would be boring if it wasn't like that, you know?
Really?
Like there would be no point if the solution to the last problem didn't create a new problem.
Oh yeah.
Because then you wouldn't have any problems
Good
anymore.
point.
And then what do you do when you have no problems? So I think the thing with the whole evolution thing, it's probably going how it's definitely going how it's supposed to be going. But I'm definitely seeing like an imbalance where it's like our biology, like core body, like, and if you go back to primitive like functions of our body are still the same. So we react like to the outer world the same way we would the Stone Age world, where it's just little trees and fucking mountains, you know? So I think
We're like
it's
we're
going,
confusing it.
it's getting so complex and fast that it's like now I don't think our body's used to having to process shit that fast. So what happens is you start to experience like when you go out, you're so aware of everything and you're so used to just everything punching you all the time. So you're just squared up for like anything that could come up or like however, like I think that's what's going on. And we're just reacting to the world we created.
But
I think that's what's going on.
imagine being in a place where you could take breaks from it being reactionary. And because I feel like now we're at a point where sometimes you are so plugged in that you lose self-awareness and then even like spatial awareness. Like I've seen people walk in and stuff just because you're like...
Because you have to split attention between walking and fucking doing scrolling. Like when something is enticing, you're gonna want to pay more attention, and in turn reduce the quality of your walk.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I think we're just reacting to like the world right now. And I
So
think
funny.
maybe us like pulling back is the whole virus thing. Like now we kind of need to slow down, but it's still so much fear. Like I feel fucking tension in the air going out, bro. Like it's weird. It's so weird.
You're on the bus, it's like everyone's looking
Yeah,
for the guy
bro.
who's like,
Like,
it's like,
everyone's
hey, yo,
just like,
You're looking at hands. Like,
it's like keeping at yourself.
bro, I was on the bus today. It smelled like Purell, bro. Like the whole bus smelled like Purell. Like everyone probably just gets on and like they finish tapping the pass and then just,
Like you gotta...
just you know?
the crazy thing is, bro, there goes your fucking microbiome. So now if you actually touch anything, that's just gonna harm your immune system.
Because it doesn't kill necessarily just the good germs.
It's everything.
Kills everything down.
99, all of it, not
The-
just 99 of the
Not
bad
just-
ones.
not just-
99%.
Not just the nine.
all y'all getting clocked, like everybody, you know?
But I mean, if you need to
Fuck,
use it
bro.
sick, but I don't think people should be using it as often as they
No.
do. Because like
For sure.
it's too easy. Like the way it's so easy to do it means that there's a downside.
yeah.
Always. Because fast food is like, it's so convenient and it tastes so great.
Yeah.
But I feel like shit, you know? So like, I think there's always going to be a downside.
Yeah, it's like it's also like if you look at the science behind it, like it's alcohol based. Like you're at the end of
Yeah,
the day, you're
you're
also
just
just
frying-
drying your skin,
Yeah,
man.
You're just frying your shit.
And then
Like, bro.
where are you gonna go with that? It's like you also think of it this way: it's like you overuse it, and then now you're more susceptible. Like what Akris was saying, you're more susceptible to other stuff. Like
Yeah. You know that's how allergies work? It's like your body is looking for, say, X amount of stressors, 20 stressors in your environment. But suddenly, the way you grow up, it's been fucking sanitized like no tomorrow. So your body is expecting that stimulus from outside your body, and it's not there. So your body's panicking. Fuck, that
need
peanut
some-
got me.
It's got
You know,
you
it's like
tweaking.
Mix it up.
It's got you tweaking.
It's like I'm gonna find something. It's like
Imagine having a peanut allergy and like navigating high school. Like you go to school every day. You're like,
imagine being allergic to dairy.
man, that's tough. Pizzas.
Yeah, bro.
It's like
what do
you saw that
what
photo
can
of
you
Lil
eat?
Uzi.
Oh, bro. Wow.
Imagine that
Tomato
being.
pizza, bro.
That's
Just
how you
tomatoes?
experience a pizza permanently.
Oh no. That's like if like as a snack, you know, the cold ones, like you know, but to just be able to just like,
Only.
not being able to, bro. You call pizza, it's like, yo, but can you just remove the cheese? Can you just
Take it
remove
off.
You know what?
the cheese?
Just give me the sauce.
Just remove
It's like
the
bread and the
cheese.
sauce. That's it.
Oh, that would suck.
You like so much would be lost from that experience. Like
fucking
you're so vigilant, right? You have to look at
Yeah.
everything. You're like, hey yo, like you got something that you're not supposed to have.
That's
Like,
trash.
you're just walking around with a pen and stuff.
Lost is the sauce.
Yo, how was it fast?
Oh, bro, I didn't even get hungry.
I got
I got hungry, but like lasted a second. It would just be like my stomach rumbling, and then, oh, I've been here before. It's fine. The only thing I do regret is I broke my fast with Tim Hortons because I was doing a group assignment, and then
What was it? What'd you get?
the teacher brought in like
Oof.
Timbits and donuts. So I was like,
Yikes.
fuck it, dude.
Yikes.
I broke in an hour early too. I could have fucking waited, but I was like, nah.
Nah, that's whatever.
Yeah.
How does it
71.
feel though when you're
when you're
currently
doing-
Bro,
going through it?
It feels like there's a big hole in your stomach. That's
Not
how I
me.
feel. I feel my stomach just feels empty. Yeah, like it feels empty.
For me,
as fuck.
is like my energy is really steady the whole day through. It's not like the highest it should be because like blood sugar, your brain isn't getting enough. Blah,
Yeah.
blah. But you're very steady the whole 3 days, and your sleep is very good because you're not digesting anything. But only thing I'd say is
True.
like physically, like when you're exerting yourself, even walking, bro. I went to work.
Taxing, bro.
Oh, when I went to work, all I did was fucking walk. I get home, I have growing pains. I have, you know that pain, right? The growing pain is just aching, and that was the only thing that was actually painful.
Do you feel like you paid more attention to the food once you had it, like because you
Oh, yeah.
you were trying to not have
Yeah.
it for so long?
But the thing is,
Oh, let me
we've done
show
it
you what I-
before.
let me show
We've
you
done it
what I-
before,
what I
and
ate.
we fast 24 hours once a week. So we always have that like hiatus of not eating. So we're kind of acclimated to it. Like he was saying, like we're both saying, like food is actually overrated.
Oh, bro. Because when I actually ate after the 3 days, bro, I was hyping it up. I'm trying to find the fucking picture. Where is it?
It's just
No, this one.
like
Yeah,
it's
I ate-
satisfying for the first.
I ate-
bite.
like all of this.
Whoa,
Yeah, all of that.
that's
you know? I ate all of that. And then after I finished eating, I was like,
why did I do that?
and it wasn't necessarily
That's
what did I
true.
do that, but the fantasy of it, of eating, like I was planning this breakfast like on like the entire time. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
That's why that's why I fasted so early. That's why I started my fast so early. I was so
so
I
fun.
could have breakfast and break my fast with a break fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make all this shit, and it's gonna be so grand and nice. And I had it, and it wasn't like the scene in my head that it was gonna be. I was just a whole bunch of mush just went down my fucking
Yeah.
body, and that's gonna break it down. I'm gonna shit it out. That's what basically happened. So I think the fun of eating actually disappeared after I broke my fast.
Really,
Like,
it has to
yeah.
do with like I feel like the limbic system, right? Your emotions always telling you.
What is that? Limbic?
The limbic, it's like essentially from like how I've understood it whenever I would read about it would be so your emotions and how they drive you. You know that like primitive drive.
Yeah.
You know, your limbic system, your innate emotions just telling you to do stuff, right? Like the need to eat, you know, the need to
Yeah.
procreate, all that stuff, right?
okay.
So how that and how your, you know, consciousness always fight for your body. Right, because that's how you navigate the
Yeah.
spaces around you, and it's like, oh, your limbic system is like, oh yeah, let's eat a
Yeah.
burger, let's get fries, let's get all the pizza we want. But then, you know, the more like rational side is like, nah, chill, dog, chill. Let's get some rice and beans. You know, we're here for a long time, not for a good time. So, like, what do you think about that whole like push and pull and how it's changed over the years from like times where we had like no tech and now where we're just like always connected?
I think we've already spoken about it. It's like it's kind of it's a direct transfer It's a direct transfer. There's no separation between that and like how you walk. None. You're walking, looking down at your phone. You're eating, looking at your phone. Like you're sleeping, looking at your phone.
It has to do, I feel like, because of that, we kind of lose like discipline, you know, like that sense of fulfillment, as we were all just talking about, is like it's gone. And I don't know, for me, that like it's just been captivating me for the whole week, and that's why I kind of can't like really leave that dimension of thinking, because I'm always like thinking about, oh, this is how technology can like, you know, change. And also if you look at legislation too, we don't have any of that, right? Like digital rights, it only just became a thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we just went through life all those years.
And that's what's so weird, because like as when we were those simple beings, we just like woke up, you go get water, you go prepare, you go hunt your meal or whatever, and you cook that. And that's the day. Like, you don't go on your phone. You just, when you're bored, just look at the water pass. You just sit down, you cook, or you eat a snack or whatever, and you just go in the trees and stay there, you know? And now that I'm saying that, it sounds like such a fucking fun time. And I think to everyone, like, that would be sick.
Oh, they yearn
right
for it, bro.
That would be sick right now. Like, to be able to do that and not have the worry of essay due or whatever. Like
Lawsuit?
low-key, like
Bro,
low-key,
when was
like,
that a fucking thing?
you know what I'm saying? Low-key like that. Well, as soon as I'm saying it, I felt such peace describing it. So it's like,
just that.
why when we were at that point, why did we feel the need to evolve into where we're at now, where that seems like the fantasy, where like we want to be those beings we were a few years ago, living such simple lives. You know what I mean? Like, now we need to consciously be like, okay, like, everything stop. Let me just take a day where I don't have any lurking thought in behind my head of responsibilities and essays and people I have to reply to and like all this shit.
Even while the economy is just fucking turning out T-shirts, fucking GMO plant-based burgers.
You know?
Fucking,
And like everything's gotten so complex, but we're such simple beings that we're just like, whoa, like this is way too complex for me. Because a good time, a normal day for us, I think, at our core, as a simple being, is just to wake up, you eat, you walk around, breathe some air,
with
eat
your
again,
nose.
eat again, like eat again, walk around again, like play around maybe, eat again, and then go to sleep. Same time, and then wake up the same time.
That ties down with how I feel like we always have fond views of like nostalgia, right? You're cashing in on that spirit.
Simpler times.
That simpler time thing. And it's like, I feel like it's also very interesting because like that makes me think of the question of like, how do we recreate our memories? You know, like we're always the good guy, right? We're always better, and we always remember things, and the grass is always greener.
It
like,
always cuts out the negative shit.
Yeah.
Also, you're always buying that one certain product.
What
so you
would
could
it
go
be
back.
for you?
I don't know. It's just like not a certain product, but it's like you have a certain way of choosing things. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's based on how you chose before. Yeah. And so I just think like we're and it makes more sense, because like meditation, what are you doing? You're just trying to become more simple. You just want to cut out all the clever shit, all the complex, and that's what
also reach God.
Ram. Well, that's the thing. The more simple you get, the more you become like God, because God is just a fucking dot. It's just one little point.
Like, science chops it down, reduces, which is not simpler.
It never gets to the essence. It just finds a new complexity.
Multiplies.
Yeah.
It just finds a new complexity in a simple thing.
It kind of teaches you that the whole is what's big, right? Once you like start breaking stuff down, it's like, especially with like Western sciences, whenever you break something down, it becomes more complex, and you can only abstract going up. You can't abstract going down, which I feel like should be something you can do, right?
I met my philosopher friend who's studying philosophy.
Philosopher friend.
You
always call him that, my philosopher friend.
Anyway, so he was saying like we were just having a discussion about like sort of God, sort of like what sort of train of thought do you fall into, and he was telling me like he really doesn't believe in God, or like just everything's matter. Basically, he was saying. So I'm like, so there's no God to you. There's no like wonder. There's no like nothing you can grab. Only things that you can grab are real, or things you can see. So I was saying,
if you can't see it, it doesn't exist.
yeah, and he said, what if we just can't, like it exists, it's just not fine enough that we can see it. So me transmitting a certain thought to you
is you're basically seeing the thought with your ears. That's what your ears do.
But you can't reduce it enough to the finest grain so you can actually perceive it with your eyes. But maybe you can with another sensory organ.
Yeah,
Like
maybe
a
there's
different medium?
Yeah. I mean, that's how radio works. Like you can't
but
hear radio.
But he was saying like none of the senses can like pick it up. And I was like, whoa. So what if it's just a matter of time before, which it is, before like yogic sciences and like the science of meditation and going within becomes visible.
Yeah, because it's like, even think of like an idea, right? The way it starts, I feel like once you fine tune an idea is when then you're able to express it, right? So it's like, it's the same. I feel like with other forms.
Yeah. It's like it's the vibration that's in your head, a series of vibrations. Like you interpret a thought using what you have out there. So you see it in your head, you see how it would be when it's like materialized, and all you're doing from there is just putting the right frequencies together so that thing goes from your head to being able to, like, that's all we're doing. That's what I mean by like artist translation. You're just taking something from a different frequency or different form, and you're just bringing it into another one. So like, it's just what we're doing.
Like, changing forms.
I was already there.
You know what I'm saying?
I got there. I just needed that little bit extra, you know. Wait for y'all. A little bit more science.
But I needed just like 2 more telescopes. That's all.
Just 2 more.
Just 2 more.
One for each eye. Just because you're trying to lock in on a planet. On a planet. Something to hold you down. It's like what holds you down, you know?
I think
yeah, let's just segue into that. What holds you down?
What holds you down? What holds me down?
Yeah, what holds you down?
Actually, you know what? That's actually a big theme in my sadhana right now, which what's it called? What's the word? Contradictory. To contradict myself. I realized actually the whole thing Ramnas was saying, like when it's time for the message, it'll be right there in front of you, and you'll bro. I'm realizing that sharing is like chill. Like you don't do it that much, if you know what I mean. Like when especially about like your whole like your personal like spiritual like work, the sharing of it can kind of bring you, because you're sharing something like is million levels. You're right there, and you're talking about the experience of being right there with someone who's right here or right there or right here or right there. So you're never connecting to the same point.
At the same level.
So it's actually detrimental to you or to even the person to even describe where you're at personally in your own work.
Because you're reducing experience into a sentence.
Yeah. As soon as you put words on it, you're removing the value anyway. So it's like what's the same thing with like when people describe you before you smoked weed. Like when you were curious, like what does it feel like? A person describes to you. When you actually do it, it's like not the same.
It's a different thing.
Because the words just remove because there's experiencing and then there's talking about an experience. 2 different things. You know?
I feel like that has to do with anything that's like a summation. Like whenever you're making, not summation. My bad. A summary, because with your words, I feel like you're always summarizing, right? Like, because you can never accurately like send an idea through. You summarize it with your words, and for me that always loses impact. I feel whenever you have to reduce something to be able to communicate it. So you would.
This book I'm reading, I kind of stopped, but I'm reading this now. Bro, this shit is so hard to digest, but
dense, bro.
What's it about?
It's Homo Ludens. It's a study on the play element in culture. Everything's play, basically, is what it's saying. Rituals, play, fucking. In the second chapter, the first is just the introduction, and then the first thing he mentions that we began to play with is language. Because bro, how many languages are there? And one word in Sanskrit has 5 different meanings. Yeah. The way you use it, but when you shift it into a different language, it's like, what? It's like, no, there's only.
But in a way,
you
I
reduce
guess
it, you chop it down.
Yeah, I feel like a language
It's a
is a
form.
reflection of it's a reflection of cultures and experiences, right? Like, say a culture at the end of the day, it's a collective consciousness, right? It's a series of norms. So you distill that, you get a language that's specific to a culture. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like there's like certain words or certain semantics that are
Yeah.
present
We
here
were
but
talking
not
about that
there,
last
right?
Yeah.
Just like that. It's like it's a reflection of a culture and it reflects what it's used for, right? That's why I feel like you have like languages that are more, beautiful versus languages that are more like harsher or something. Is because of function, right?
And also the way you address people. It brought up the, like, you know how in Japanese where it's like super polite. It's like, arigato gozaimasu. Or you either say arigato or arigato gozaimasu.
Always
the
bowing.
difference between the two, the bowing too, like, and the difference between the two, it said was like,
I love them niggas.
Yeah.
let me see if I can find
I
it.
love them niggas.
Oh, right here.
Love it.
They make the greatest
okay.
stories.
Yo,
A closer investigation of the Japanese conception of play would lead us more deeply into the study of Japanese culture than space allows. The following must suffice. The extraordinary earnestness and profound gravity of the Japanese ideal of life is masked by the fashionable fiction that everything is only play. Like the chivalry of the Christian Middle Ages, Japanese Bushido took shape almost entirely in the play sphere and was enacted in play forms. The language still preserves this conception in the asobase kotoba, literally play language, or polite speech.
Whoa.
The mode of address used in conversation with persons of higher rank. The convention is that the higher classes are merely playing in all they do. The polite form for you arrive in Tokyo is literally you play arrival in Tokyo. And for I hear that your father is dead is I hear that your father has played dying. In other words, the revered person is imagined as living in an elevated sphere where only pleasure or condensation moves to action.
Man, that's crazy. Like, imagine what that does to your psyche, knowing that instead of saying like someone is dead, it's like someone is playing, right? Dying. So you just see those things so differently.
And seeing it from like English where it's like, oh, why the gozaimasu? It's 3 fucking syllables, but it's all the difference between getting chopped up by the Yakuza leader or him like taking you on, or something like that, you know?
Yeah. It's like respect, right? It's like, what does that word mean in different contexts?
We
Right?
just went on a whole tangent with me trying to tell you not to express shit to people.
But it's so crazy how you can do it beautifully through words, through play. Even though it's reduction, it's like,
It's like you still preserve so much. You're like,
Basically, you're not gonna describe the experience you had properly to the other person because it's never gonna be the same, right? So keep it to yourself, and I think it
Wow,
makes,
that's where you're going.
Yeah, that's the message. That's the message that came. But you were saying something else there. I forget.
Was it along the lines of play?
Nah, you said something else, and then I told you message. I didn't tell you message. No, but yeah, that basically works on itself. I found like the Kriya yoga stuff, but whatever. We won't talk about that. It's basic.
I won't
Basically,
reduce
bro.
that.
Basically, bro, just do what you do, and then everything else kind of just falls into place by itself. And what I realized too, I don't think it's like I was saying earlier, it's not the shit that you get, like, I don't know, a fucking car or a big check that's gonna make you like feel good. Like, it's not gonna make you long term feel good. All that happens is what you do doesn't change. All that changes is your state of consciousness while you're doing what you do. That's why the people say before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Like, you don't. That's the thing. The thing about that whole path is it's one big fucking joke. Like, it's a joke. If you go into it taking it seriously, expecting some like very like straight shit, like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. It's
some
not
profound thoughts.
Everything is gonna go other way than what you expect. So you're gonna expect to start feeling, oh yeah, okay, like it's 30 minutes now. I should start feeling very deep and like connected and here and like, yeah, I'm here. Nah, nigga.
It's like, man, I'm just waiting for it to
It's
hit
the
me.
same as 10 minutes, except it's 30. It's the same shit 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute give you, except it's for 30 minutes. So all I'm finding right now with the way the shit's going is that I just have to keep falling and letting go of shit. Like I just keep catching shit. Like I'll catch on to an experience or like a thing, and I quickly have to let it go, or else it just starts to slow everything down.
Yeah. What do you think other people like normally do? Because for me, when I'm thinking about what you just said, where it's like you have to let go of experience, I feel like we like to romanticize experiences, and especially like our
Romance
past experiences.
is not as good as we think it is. It's just, the thing is, romance is fun to play around, right? But we need to both be being romantic, knowing what the reality is. You know, like let's just oh man, like what if blah blah blah, like oh this would be sick. Like okay, this idea I have for a song is gonna be so fire. Oh man, it's gonna be sick. Like I'm gonna blow up off this. Like blah 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 blah. They're saying this and then knowing that it's probably not gonna happen, and then they're saying this and expecting that it's actually reality. What happens is if you think it's reality when you're romanticizing, it's not going to be the reality, right? Because you're romanticizing in a moment that's not the moment happening. Therefore, you don't know. This is all fiction in your head.
Counting the chickens in the
that's
basket.
why past and future is all fiction, right? So it's not what's going on right now. It's all shit that's in your head that isn't happening. So
And you just mentioned this right before too, where you were saying, don't reduce it.
yeah,
Enjoy it and tell nobody.
yeah, just enjoy it. Stop, because as soon as you try to end this thing with traces, when you're done a meditation, or when you're done like a session, it's like you're trying to go, oh, that was good. Oh, that was productive. Oh, that wasn't productive. Oh, I couldn't focus today. Oh, man. Or like, oh, today I was mad focused, man. I did so much progress, nigga. Damn, like this was a good one. Like that doesn't fucking matter, bro. All that matter is the process of you sitting down and doing that thing that you do.
Trust the
Everything
process.
else is just shit that comes up. That's why niggas get frustrated when shit goes wrong, because they're expecting it to go right again, as the last time. That's the whole thing with writer's block. Shit, I don't have anything to write about today.
So what you're saying is you should kind of really give up on the whole concept
Just
of expectations.
focus on the process of doing the shit that gives you the results. Because the results itself, that shit that comes on itself, it will all trickle down all by itself. Your only job, literally, is to sit down and do that thing. Whether it's a creative work, whether it's meditation, like whatever it is. And the thing we were saying about putting your full attention on something, whatever it is, just that's your purpose right now. Like just the process of doing whatever you're doing is just your purpose as it's happening.
As you were saying that, I kind of zoned out, and I was like, we already know this, but it's like all highs, or like all you're searching for is a state of awareness
Is a high.
that is blissful.
Yeah.
Right? So like, fuck, I already forgot, but it's like it's like I'm looking at like bro, like I can get a chair that's comfortable, I can get a nice big door, but it's like, what's your perception of that, and like how do you perceive it? And it's crazy because like some people that maybe study philosophy, it's like you learn a certain way, and you learned it that way, that one way, which reduces it like
To
that.
this, yeah.
So now you're thinking of it as label 1, label 2, label 3.
Yeah.
And that's all you're thinking. Oh, that's label. That's so
labels.
beautifully put in label 1.
The labels,
oh,
yeah.
that's so beautifully put in label 2.
But you know what's funny?
Not 3 though. Not 3. No. It can only be in 1.
You know what's funny? This is all the process of us going back into being the one thing.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, all this is just like a yo-yo thing, where it's just like you're one with everything. Bow, you experience separateness, and then you just go back up. So like everything I feel like we're just seeing happen right now outside. It's all the process of us just going right back into being just like, you know, like I think it's just a game of just back and forth between different states.
Because if you think about it, when you're piggybacking off emotions and stuff, right? It's like sometimes you're so caught up on the emotion that you want to ride onto, but because you can't control that, it ends up just first of all, it's a hindrance to you, and it takes its toll on you. It's like you'd much rather just be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna try to receive pleasure off the action rather than an outcome.
I haven't expected. That's the thing. Like everything you do should be fulfilling in itself, and that's what they mean by the whole chop wood, carry water thing. It's like if you experience in psychedelic states, should we cross the street? Should we not cross the street? I don't care. I don't care. It's just like, bro, I'm just vibing. Like, I don't here or there. I'll be vibing.
And that's the bad
nonetheless.
trip. That's what causes the bad trip.
Yeah.
So simple now.
The bad trip is as soon as you think it shouldn't be like this, or a lot of bad trips happen when they start to feel the anxiety of the come up, and then they'll want to stop it, and then it's just done. You're done. Like you're done. Right? I mean, you can be done until you let go of the fact that it's just
so subtle.
You know? And especially with like acid. Acid is so long that it's not as potent as fucking mushroom. Mushroom just like whoosh, you're just there.
They just send you up.
It's faster because it's just 6 hours. So it's you gotta the ride has to be. They have to show you the same amount of shit in a shorter time. So they gotta condense it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, hey, let me ride the boat.
Yeah.
Let me ride the boat, and then you're off.
Yeah. So like when you're in that place, bro, like whether or not that's why you'll not eat during a trip, because whether or not you eat doesn't determine your state of mind. It's all a game of state of mind. That's why a person that sees Trump on the news, the way they experience seeing Trump is different to everyone. A feeling you get when you see his face is different for everyone. There's a lot of people, they see anger. There's a lot of people, they see a hero. There's a lot of people, they don't give a fuck. It doesn't change anything. There's a lot of people, it's all a bunch of shit, right? So it's really not even about, that's why when people are enlightened, they can smoke. They could, as long as you see it as something that's just, yeah, that's it.
It's
like
personal to someone, right?
It's just a whole thing. As long as it's just a thing
not
happening.
even personal. It's like, I'm just doing it. Why are you angry that I'm doing it?
We hold on too quick. That's the thing. Like you're like, wow, that was amazing. As soon as you're done, you're already fantasizing about it.
Yeah.
You're like, that was great. Oh, that wasn't like the other time. That wasn't like with that person.
Yeah, it's always
You know?
like a comparison, right?
So for you to try to match it again, you're gonna try to fuck again. And then now you want to compare it so you can compare it to the other times you fucked before. So then you just keep being in this state of comparison. You just want to hit that same time as the time that you remember in your head that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If you're in a state where you don't give a fuck about what happened before and you're just here and you understand that right now there's just a bunch of shit happening, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah. And I feel like it ties down to the whole thing of like chasing outcomes, because you're so into the whole like, I want this to happen. You're chasing an outcome. You're like, and then that makes you want to live fast, because as soon as you get something, you're like, oh, I'm here when I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah,
I need to go.
I need to go there. Everything is either this outcome or not that. You know, I was talking about that with Tim. We were discussing how everyone in the West feels like they're just everyone and is in a constant state of going from point A to point B. And that's all we see. Like when we're leaving point A, and nothing in between us getting into point A and point B will be acknowledged.
Yeah.
So we don't take time to slow down and like actually walk slow. Like walking slow is so rare.
Don't you feel like as though that kind of makes happiness a binary thing? It's like oh, it's happened, I'm happy. It hasn't happened, I'm not happy.
And
well,
that's the
happiness I feel like is just, it's grain. It's very fine. It's supposed to be layers. But then because you're chasing an outcome, it becomes such a binary concept of like, I'm happy. No, I'm not.
You turn
happy.
it into a game of duality, to a game of happy and not happy, instead of just a game of.
It's like a scale, right? There's like, I'm happy sometimes. Like I'm usually happy, but it's like something with magnitude. It's not just an on
It's
and
the
off.
holding on to the last time you were happy.
And I also heard like, how do you feel? Oh, I'm happy, dude. It's like, which kind of happy are you? There's no one only kind of happy.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a fucking spectrum, man. It's like, again, if you reduce it, it's like, what are you doing? That's why we've been like, you especially is like, oh, how are you? I am, and I hate being asked that. I hate being asked that question.
I don't like being asked that question.
It's like, what?
How are you?
I just am, like,
But
that's pretty profound.
You know what's interesting though, which is why it's such a game, because every time I start to feel like I understand, especially from like meditation, because that's like what I've been doing the most. Like I'm on that as much as I used to be on like music and shit, where it's like if I don't do it a day, like I'm a piece of shit that day.
Yeah.
So it's like it's become like as the same. You can see someone trying to make it to like, it's almost as though I'm trying to make it in the world of monks and meditators. Like you can see it like that. So as soon as I feel like I'm getting a grip on it, which is the same with any kind of practice, as soon as you feel like you start to understand, there's a new complexity that arises. Not necessarily complexity, it's just you're at a new level. When you thought you completed the game, you just completed a new level. And it's the same with like learning an instrument. You mastered minor chords. Okay, there's 9 different modes. Like
you can move on.
Like, okay, now start fucking around with that. It just multiplied the amount of shit that you can do. This is the same thing here. Like every time I feel like I'm getting it, something comes up where it's like, nah, bro. Like you're just starting type shit. So every day I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down. I don't care. Like whether it's shit or not, I just want to get 30 minutes out. But it's not necessarily in a negative way. It's just like this is
like, thank goodness.
It's no different than me going to eat. And that's the man. That's
But
and
no
that's the
different between
point.
like you learning a skill, learning a sport, and you think you've mastered that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And maybe you have, but your left foot is shit. You haven't even you can't even stand on
and
it.
now
Bro.
it's a whole new shit.
Yeah. Like for me, sometimes I'm like, what if it's the case that, like, going back to what you were saying of like when people ask you how are you, like why do I have to quantify my existence? Right? It's like, so I'm here, I don't want to be perceived, man. I just want to be like, why are you asking me how am I? Like,
But the thing is, you do what you do, right? So if your opinion on it removes the experience of talking to that person, right? You're busy not enjoying being told how are you because you don't want to describe how you are. And the thing is, you're supposed to get to a point where even the shit you don't necessarily enjoy, you can freely play it as best as you can without any attachment to how you feel about the game. So it's like, how are you? Yo, I'm fucking sick, bro. Like you don't necessarily enjoy the conversation, but don't, push it away completely. Like indulge,
Yeah.
or else you're causing more suffering to yourself.
Yeah.
You're just gonna not enjoy being told how are nigga.
That's a good
if
point.
you don't enjoy being told how are you, you're gonna have a bad fucking time here in the West,
Yeah.
bro. Because that's all niggas ask you. Go to buy a sandwich,
doing?
someone,
How you doing? How you
if you don't just play it. Just play. How are you? Oh, I'm wonderful. How are you?
exactly. It's like you're forced to have to care sometimes about these modes, and I feel like you were saying, it's a very Western thing for it to be like, oh, how are you?
Yeah.
Like even if sometimes you don't feel like asking someone and like
you feel
actually
like you have
caring.
to. So the quality even of being asked how you are is like, people don't even ask because they care. So like that's why you feel such a way about it. You're like, I know you're just doing this because you have to.
There's
do
an
this.
emptiness to that
Superficial.
word.
So you
even
just
when
feel
mean
like,
it.
yeah, let's just be fake to each other for like to. So
Yeah,
instead of doing that, just go the opposite way. Do it as real as you can, instead of going along with the
That's
fake.
a good point, man.
Yeah, instead of going along with the fake, you're like, how are you? Good, and then you're both like, oh, this piece of shit. If that person goes, how are you? And they're like, fuck. And you're like, oh, I'm wonderful. How are you? And you, and,
Yeah,
and
no,
you
I'm
care,
terrible with that. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm great. What the fuck do you want?
like, and you say that and you actually care, to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you might meet a new person. That person might want to engage in further conversation with you.
It's like, oh, I'm good. Thank you.
So it's
Damn.
all a bunch of shit of, in the end, there's no event that is more important than another one. In the end, at the fine essence of things, it's just a bunch of shit happening. The world is just a bunch. Waking up happened.
It's a bunch of. It's
Showering
a bunch of,
happened.
It's a sequence, right?
Showering happened. Oh, damn, this unexpected thing happened that I didn't want to happen. Oh, that was something else that happened, right? So in the end, when you're in a state where you see everything like that, everything's just happening, and you're not necessarily like, I want this to happen, I want this to happen, I want this to. You're just like, oh, this just happened, and you're in a state of like, oh, that okay,
Yeah.
And it's also novel.
and it's like, oh, okay,
Learning
wow.
Learning how to be an observer, I feel, is the hardest thing. Just learning
unattached
to
observer. If you
right?
want to, like, if you want to step out, having the option to just be able to step out of shit and not necessarily be so into it, getting sucked in, forgetting it's just all play. Like, we're all playing, but then we forget that it's a play.
It requires some discipline. I feel like that.
Oh, bro.
That tying back
I'm
to
not
the
there.
yeah,
Like,
like the
I'm
very
not-
start.
I'm not there, bro.
It's like-
I'm far from this.
Do you have that in you? Do
But-
you even recognize
But
you,
it's
you
the
don't
it's
have
the
that
process. It's the I think it's all leading to the point where we are at that point, and that's why I believe more in reincarnation more and more every day.
in you?
Like, do you believe in that?
Yeah, like when to me
How
the
do you
whole
think? How do you think it works? Like reincarnation? Because there's many ways I think it gets talked about.
okay, for me, like the way I would see it unfolding is you just move vessels, but you still continue having an experience. Like it's always an experience, right? Like when you like.
Do you think the you that's switching vessel to vessel is the same? Stays the same?
I think the essence remains, but because you've like switched, you kind of get a
New computer.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
so that would explain the losing the memory.
Mhm.
That would also explain the feeling of I've done this before. Like
Yeah.
if someone tells you this is not your first time around on this game of life, like would you believe it? Like it doesn't feel like this is my first time around.
But then that's
If
the
you know what I mean? But
I-
maybe
I-
this could all be me just telling myself this. You
I
know?
mean, I would believe it if I was 7. I would have believed it. If I was 10, I'd be like, nah, that's stupid. I learned something last week that disproves that.
So
it's like, yeah, where do you draw yourself? Like, do you feel, but then I feel like that ties into how you view yourself and interaction. Because if you view it as like we're some of a whole, then you obviously believe in this concept of we're never really gone. But if you were like strong, like individual thing
it's
where
all into one big thing.
Yeah,
like, we're
yeah.
all one big thing, and
Yeah.
within it is all we're experiencing.
But I do think that you switch, you end up switching vessels because when you're exploring consciousness, I feel for me like consciousness is emergent, right? It's not inherent. It's because of a
Unfolding.
certain amalgamation that boom, you have the property.
The father, masculine
Yeah.
energy, explicit. yeah.
It's like
The
you have
creation, the own.
boom.
Yeah.
It's outwardly, and so when you start a new existence, it's a different experience that brings out a different consciousness.
yeah.
So that's why there's that loss for me. That's how I would see that.
Oh yeah.
Because the way
That's good. I agree with you.
that's why, yeah. The way it's described that I think I sided with the belief I aligned myself with the most is the one that's like, it's so hard to say this because it's like we're all one anyways.
Yeah.
But in terms of physical realm, like we have a soul,
Mm-hmm.
and the soul is playing this game of forgetting who it is and then remembering.
Yeah.
And your entire life is you going from forgetting that you're everything and you're one and you're God, and then remembering and then being back into God. And like the act of coming back just means you're not there yet. You're not to the point where you can go back yet. Like you're not at the point where you're back in the one yet. If you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
You haven't renewed your membership.
Like yeah, like
remember.
let's say so if this lifetime you haven't gotten to a point where you're detached, like you don't die with any attachments in the world. Like this person that you love, that like, whatever, you die with karma that's unresolved shit you've done in your life that is still fucking that hasn't come back yet, right? Even the thing with karma, it needs to come back. And if you leave and it hasn't come back yet, then you gotta come back so that it can come back and hit you.
Yeah.
And until you're done having everything back to you and you can stop putting things out so they don't have to come back, you need to keep coming back so that you can catch them again when they're going to come back to
Yeah.
you.
Because like, where does that energy go? It can't
Until you
just dissipate.
stop throwing shit, because the shit you threw out
Yeah.
needs to come back. As soon as you stop throwing, you can leave, and then you never have to come back again because there's nothing that's going to come back to you. Whatever you threw out, you need to catch. So if you leave before you catch it, you're going to have to come back so you can catch it. Because it's a law that it can't just come, like it cannot not come back.
Sorry, that was a good point. not this, that was a good point.
No, but it also ties down to how I would say you view consciousness, right? Like I was reading about this thing called panpsychism, and it's this whole like belief. Yeah, it's this whole belief where everything has consciousness. Like even when you boil it down to like atoms and like you look at like quarks and stuff, it's like all of these things have something that is, a consciousness of
Conscious.
God
sorts.
is emanating through it in some form. Yeah.
And so how they would say how they recombine, and then they give the newness, like the property they've just created, how they give that consciousness. Is it is this new consciousness a sum of its part, or is it a whole separate entity? You know what I'm saying?
It's both, I guess.
Yeah, because it's like your cells make up your body, but then your body is still distinct from the cells, even though it's made up of the cells.
Bro, the shit is like, it's exact, bro, yogis have, how did they figure this out without any fucking technology? It's like
Because it's inherent.
yeah. And I've said this before, but it's like, you have a mind. Let me reset. Your cell has a mind of its own. That cell group has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And keeps
Keeps pushing higher to your fucking entire
Yourself.
body, which has the mind, which controls all those minds,
which has a mind of its own,
which have a mind of its
which
own.
is part of a society. Which has a
So
mind
if you
of its own.
can control that, if you with your mind can control that cell group's mind, that cell group mind can work together to attain a certain goal. And if you're vibrating at the same frequency, fucking hippie, dude.
Let's go.
Like, let's go.
Man, that's powerful, you know? It's like,
Think about it, bro.
Like,
Think about it, dude.
like, bro, like if you just let it really
bro.
get deep and like sit there,
Dude, just sit down with this and like let it marinate,
and the
bro.
craziest thing is like that hippie and that yogi are saying the exact same thing, but it's two different languages. And the way that expression is perceived in those two different languages is crazy. It's like, oh, I look
But
down upon
I think
you.
a lot
It's
of
like,
I think a lot of hippies also have like ego attached to them. That's why when you say hippie and
That's
you say
true. That's
like
true.
yogi, there's different reactions, right? Because hippies will just be niggas who are like, look at how
That's true.
holy we
Yeah.
are, everybody. We know something you don't.
it's
you
like
know?
they hold it as a
Facts.
trump card.
You know what I'm
just
saying?
"Ayo."
Like people who actually know, they're just like
yeah, we know.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what?
they're like,
they're just
I know.
they don't let you know that
That's
you
what
know.
I said.
And you will only know if you try to speak to them. Then you'll find out.
It was the
So
thing
it's
you were
whole thing of
talking
waving
about.
Flag, yeah.
Where it's like you were saying earlier, like, yeah, like I don't want to, like, you don't feel, you shouldn't really be sharing your spiritual experiences like that because
Yeah.
it diminishes the quality.
Yeah, and
so
it
they won't
just-
be talking about it unless you really ask. Like, okay,
Yeah, and it's if someone doesn't necessarily understand that or they don't believe in it, then you're putting out bad energy because the person's you're gonna feel the tone of like, okay, like weirdo or blah blah blah, right? So like, just keep it like no one goes around and they're like, oh my god, anyone who's enlightened doesn't go around going, oh my god, I'm enlightened, oh my god, look at me. Like when you're at that place, which we've been, you know what I'm saying? When you're at that
Yeah,
place,
I
you
know.
don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
And it's not from a place of you don't give a fuck about anything like nihilism. You know, it's not like a nihilistic thing. It's just like I can do anything I want. I'll write an essay, whatever. But I don't like care. I'll do the best, but like I don't give a fuck.
I feel like that goes with for any trait though. Like even with confidence, it's like people that like are like, yeah, I'm confident,
Yeah.
or like people are like, yeah, I'm a great communicator. Like you ever have those like, yeah, I'm a great communicator, and like, oh damn, there's not gonna be a lot of good communication going on around
I'm a
here.
great
Like
communicator, buddy.
personally, my communication skills.
Bro, confident niggas don't go around saying I'm confident. Hey, I'm Gio. I'm a very
Super
confident
confident.
man.
Did you know? Announcement.
I wear blue ties. You know, you don't go around telling niggas what you do. It's the same thing.
Like
don't
you
need
need
to
to
tell.
move with that same energy.
Just do it, bro. It just gets done, and then you do the next thing. We're just doing a bunch of shit. We're just being, bro. That's all it is.
I'm existing.
You're telling someone else who's being, hey, bro, I'm being, bro. The person's like, yeah, nigga, I know I'm being.
It's like, I
You
see
know? He's like, shut up. Just be.
It's like, wait a second. Me too, man.
Yeah, bro.
Whoa, what the fuck, man?
Whoa,
Dude, thanks for like making me aware that
I was-
aware of that, you know?
So it's like suddenly someone's like, yeah, you're being. I'm like, whoa, I didn't perceive myself, bro. Like, whoa, man. I forgot for a second that
Now
I was
that you
existing.
said that, bro, Brian, you just put me back on to being, bro. Thank you, bro.
I'm
Fuck.
existing. now,
Fucking
man.
love you, man.
You just got reminded of being. Let's end it, bro. It's been how long has it been? It feels like it's been 5 minutes and 5 hours.
At the same time,
Sitting here for like 5 days.
just like we've been here for time. You know, it's a journey.
We're just kind of high.
Just kind of with
What? Bro, starting this actually felt like